New developments in the investigation into the Benghazi attack. Former Deputy CIA Director Michael Morell now under fire. He is accused of giving misleading testimony to Congress regarding the White House's role in crafting those flawed talking points that Susan Rice used on TV. So is this the reason no one has been brought to justice for killing 4 Americans? Colonel Tony Schafer, senior fellow with the London Center for Policy Research, joins us now. Good morning to you, Tony.
Hey, Steve. Good to be on.
Okay, so you know, we've been talking for a while about how Susan Rice went out and lied to the American public because she presented a scenario that was not true. It was known in the government, it was known at the CIA that it was not that stupid video, it was terrorism.
Right. And I think what's worse here, what we're coming to find out, is that not only was she deceived, according to her, that she used the points that were given to her and she didn't check them. What's worse now is Mike Morrell has been accused of essentially lying to Congress. Steve, what's worse, what's much worse, is that is severe. What is intolerable is apparently now, it's information I have and others have been able to tell me about, is that Morell lied to his own people. He played the Jedi mind trick on the CIA. Basically, when this happened, because he was so committed to the lie, he said, these are not the terrorists you're looking for. So when you do that, when you actually are the guy inside, you become essentially a co-conspirator with Al-Qaeda, redirecting the search in the wrong direction. So that's why we're 18 months down the road. Not one person, not one has been held accountable for this, nor has anybody been captured.
So shortly thereafter, you know, our people on the ground, State Department, CIA, they were calling back Washington. It is
no
not
doubt.
the video.
They all knew.
They all knew. So then Mike Morrell, who was in charge at that point of the talking points, he pushed this story. And was he pushing this story to get Barack Obama reelected?
That's the question we don't know. Or was he trying to help Hillary Clinton? We just don't know. Now, he's been rewarded.
Because he did both.
He did both, and he's been rewarded. Now he sits over at a Global Strategies company, that
Beacon Global
Strategies, which is now where he's sitting. And as everything I can see, he's been rewarded time and time again. Now, let's remember, this is an intelligence officer with no hard background. He was analyzing economic data in the Philippines. He's not an operative. So he's been able to work his way through the system, be rewarded essentially for being a middleman. And when the time came to do the right thing, he actually threw operatives under the bus. And what's worse, Steve, what's much worse is he redirected things away from where they should have been focused, going after these guys rapidly. Instead of going after these guys rapidly, he reinforced the false narrative on the inside. And then by doing that, made it easier for Al-Qaeda to avoid accountability.
Sure. Susan Rice was on one of the Sunday chat shows. Does she have any regret about this? No.
The notion that somehow I or anybody else in the administration misled the American people is patently false, and I think that that's been amply demonstrated.
Okay. You told me in the commercial break that you feel that Mike Morrell, who should be called up before Congress, right?
At minimum.
Absolutely, to testify and clarify, because he, you know, sat there stony-faced and didn't really answer some questions.
Right.
What he did was treasonous.
If this was done, if he had covered up, for example, the Aldrich Ames investigation, covered for Aldrich Ames, who was working for the Soviets, and he became a co-conspirator, he would be prosecuted as an accessory or as a co-conspirator. I don't see how it's any different here. If you're actually on the inside and you know, because your people are telling you Al-Qaeda did this as a terrorist attack, and you're saying, no, it's not. And you're redirecting, not simply saying false things. You're the guy on the inside redirecting. That makes you essentially part of the problem. And what's worse in this case, part of the fact there's been no accountability for the death of Ambassador Stevens and the 3 other folks.
So at the very least, he needs to be called up before Congress and answer the hard questions. Because we had Lindsey Graham on this program where Lindsey Graham said, I asked Mike Morrell who was responsible for the talking points, and he said the FBI. Lindsey Graham called the FBI. The FBI said, what? You got to be kidding. Next thing you know, Mike Morrell goes, oh, you're right. We changed the talking points.
And he did. And this is where, and I talked to Mike Mulcahy, the former Attorney General under Bush, recently about this. And he said, flat out, Congress has to pull this guy in, question him. If he lies again, if there's discrepancies, they need to go after him.
Real quickly, do you think, from the people inside the CIA right now, is it your understanding Mike Morrell, is angling for a job in a Hillary Rodham Clinton administration?
There's no doubt that he's been rewarded for bad behavior. The question becomes, who benefits? Follow the money.
All right. Very good. Tony Schafer, thank you very much.